been a few days. In fact, I think it's been like a week. We've been having some trouble getting this thing to let us drop something. So hopefully this one actually goes through. Fingers crossed. Yeah, so I wanted to do something fun. I wanted to do like a tier list, but I don't think we're gonna get to do that. So I didn't find anything that I really liked that I was like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe this is a good topic. I was trying to come up with something like interesting, um, but I couldn't really come up with much. So, um, yeah, I guess let's and I think we've mostly gotten everything that we needed to get from what was the thing I was saying? I think we've mostly gotten everything we needed out of free agency. I don't think we're going to see anything like gigantic now. So we'll go over like the AFC, and then the next video, which hopefully will be tomorrow, we'll go over the NFC. We'll talk about the free agency stuff. If you haven't been here before, I'm Cody Lear. Not very consistent, but I'm trying. Trying doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, let's get into it. WrestleMania is right around the corner. I think that's how I'm going to start my WWE content if we do that. NBA, I'm kind of waiting for the playoffs, to be completely honest with you, because it should only be like a week or two away. NHL is, I don't watch much. I need to, but my team really sucks in that one, so I don't really watch it. March Madness is going on. My brackets are already gone, so thank you, Wisconsin. Yeah, been a good week here. Been a good week. Let's dive into the AFC, yeah? Starting off in the AFC East, you look at the Buffalo Bills, the biggest additions that they got. DJ Moore and Bradley Chubb. While that is huge, those two are very, very big. I don't know how I feel because obviously you did trade to get DJ Moore. It wasn't a horrible trade. It wasn't anything that's like game breaking. You signed Kyle Allen. You signed Bradley Chubb. D. Alford can actually play a little bit. I don't hate that move at all. You got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Mitch Wichowski, the punter. They need a punter, obviously. Geno Stone. Yeah. Obviously the big thing that Buffalo did was the trade. Was the trade for DJ Moore. They didn't really lose anything too crazy, anything too over the top. But they got a center, a receiver, a pass rusher, and a safety. They still need to get some help at the linebacker. I think defensive line is still a really, really big thing. Wide receiver depth. I mean, if you develop the guys, if you're able to develop the guys, which hopefully they are able to, I don't think you're going to have any issues there. You know, Josh Allen is awesome, so getting himself a center was really big. They still need to really focus on defense, but I don't think that anything that they're really doing is anything completely crazy. Yeah, Buffalo, I think, is still in pretty much the same boat that they were in just last year, so yeah, I guess we'll see how they are going forward. We'll have a little bit more draft content and stuff like that coming forward. But let's move on to Miami. Miami, obviously, the big ones that they got was nothing great. If you haven't seen the memes already. The signing. The big one was Malik Willis to a 3-year deal worth $67.5 million. For a guy that hasn't played a lot of games, I don't know if that's a great thing, but that's completely fine. They signed Tutu Atwell, Joshua Uche, David Ojabo. I think that move could be really beneficial. Willie Gay, Jamari Salyer, Jalen Tolbert, Charlie Heck, Greg Dulcich, Zane Gonzalez, Daryl Baker, who, keep him. I should have said that one. But Lonnie Johnson Jr., A.J. Green, Robert Beal, and Riley Patterson, Zane Anderson, Ben Sims, Marco Wilson, Seth Vernon, Tucker Addington. Yes. So, they have been making some moves. They haven't made anything crazy. anything too over the top. They lose Bradley Chubb. They lost their quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. They released Tyreek Hill already, and they just traded Jalen Waddle for multiple first-round picks. This move is fine. I think that this is a pretty deep wide receiver class. Jeff Hafley is obviously trying to get the defense in that he believes that he can coach. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make some moves here in free agency. We're going to take a year. Hope that Malik Willis is the guy, which, again, he only has a 3-year deal. So if he's not, then you're still letting Quinn Ewers do his thing. I think it's completely fine what Miami's doing. I don't think that it's going to be, like, completely awful. Obviously, you know, if Malik Willis turns out to be fine, Quinn Ewers turns out to be fine, then a worst-case scenario next year, you're drafting Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State as soon as, assuming he comes out of college. Don't think anything's too awful for them. They're still they're trying to get their defense intact over there with Uche, Chop Robinson, and David Ojabo. They still got something. They still got something going over there, and I like to see what they're doing. New England Patriots. The biggest signings, obviously, were Kevin Byard, Romeo Doubs, and Vermont Jones. These are big moves, right? This is the kind of the stuff that you get when you go to the Super Bowl. These are the people that you get. The big one for them is getting Romeo Doubs. You get yourself a wide receiver one that you're pretty confident in. Elijah Vera Tucker, if he can get healthy, great move. Vermont Jones from Baltimore. You got him. You got Kevin Byard, who is unfortunately at the end of the career, but the guy can still play some football. You signed Reggie Gillum, Julian Hill, Mike Brown. Mike Brown still has a little bit of room to work, and plus he's a former Titan, so obviously Mike Vrabel knows what he's doing with him. KJ Britt, Kendall Vildor. Yeah, not a lot of great moves for the New England Patriots. Nothing like crazy out of the block. But I think that they're looking more in the draft. I think that they're thinking they can just kind of keep building on the offense. Building on the offensive line is really the most important part for them. I would have liked to see a little bit more jumping at the offensive tackle, but this is a pretty deep offensive line heavy draft, so I don't think it's completely out of the blue to assume that you can find one in this draft. Now we got the New York Football Jets. They don't have a lot of humongous sightings, but they have made some moves here. They have made some trades to free up cap space, so they are going to address draft, right? The big one, they've signed Joseph Asai, defensive end. They need some help bad in the secondary. Getting a guy that can get to the quarterback. That's the move to make. Demario Davis, he's a veteran. He's teaching young guys how to get to that quarterback. That's what they need. Onyemata, Kingsley, Enagbare, Dane Belton, Nashawn Wright, Cade York, Max Mitchell, Andrew Beck, Michael Walker, Andre Sisco, and Kine Nwangu. Now, again, nothing out of the crazy here. They did not go out there and get anything crazy. They did trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Pretty good deal. They also got Geno Smith coming in back on a trade. They brought in Demario Davis as a signing. They've lost some really, really big names. They lost Quincy Williams. They lost Jermaine Johnson. They lost Elijah Vera Tucker. But they also just tossed Justin Fields. They will have to go and find a quarterback. If Geno Smith is not the guy, which I think you probably go ahead and just give him a year, right? You don't have a quarterback on staff. Obviously, the one that you were probably very interested in, Dante Moore, went back into college. So, the Jets are on the front of looking for another quarterback. So, I don't think Geno Smith is really a bad get in this regards. I like that, actually. They have a lot of things that they need. They still are getting the number 2 pick. I sure don't think they're going Ty Simpson at number 2, but I guess they could be crazy. They do need to find another receiver as well. They have a lot of things that they could really, really use, to be completely honest with you. Okay, so we might only do one more division, because this one's running a little bit long already. AFC North, we have Trey Hendrickson, John Simpson, and Jalen Hawkins as the big signings to Baltimore Ravens. They lost some really, really good players. Obviously, they brought in Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson was the guy that led the league in sacks not too long ago. You got Jalen Hawkins, Tyler Huntley back, John Simpson, Chidobe Awuzie, Jovan Gwynn, Durham Smith, and Danny Pinter. So, they got themselves a pass rusher. Jesse Minter, I think, is going to be pretty confident with what he can do with that secondary over there. But, of course, these are things that can be addressed in the draft. Now, you can talk about what you want to do with Max Crosby. If they did any funky stuff over there, maybe they did. It's going to make things probably harder when you want to trade for him. But I think that the big thing right now is that they want to get Lamar Jackson re-signed. They need to get a new center. They need to get... I still think that wide receiver is a big get for them. Defensively, I think Jesse Minter is going to be pretty confident in everything that he has at the table. So I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy over there. I still think that they have some stuff to work on, but right now I don't hate what the Ravens are doing. Obviously, the trade thing was kind of, what it was. It'll be alright. Now, Cincinnati. Obviously, we've talked about Joseph Asai, we talked about Geno Stone, we also talked about Trey Hendrickson. They have lost a lot of players. They have re-signed Josh Johnson, a guy that used to play there for years ago. Boye Mafe, the defensive end from the Seahawks. Great move. Brian Cook, the safety from Kansas City. Not a lot of big-name signings. Not a lot of big-name signings at all. They also get Jonathan Allen. It was another big addition. The Bengals still, they have a pretty high draft pick, so I don't think that a bad free agency is something that we can really worry too much about. Mafe and Cook, they each addressed a key theme. They're trying to add defensive leadership. They're trying to get to the quarterback. They're trying to build a decent defensive line, especially if you're building it around Shamar Stewart, who fortunately missed some time at camp last season due to some weird contract stuff. It's what it is. They still got to get somebody to help Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight. They have a little bit of work to do. They got to fix the defense. That's really the big part of it. We already know their offense is going to be able to score points if they can protect their quarterback. We know the Bengals are going to be a pretty good football team. So hopefully that is going to be the case. The Cleveland Browns, now I've actually heard a lot of really good things about their free agency, which is always nice to hear. They brought in Zion Johnson. Okay, I actually do like that move for them. They needed to get help on the offensive line. Elton Jenkins, also a very good offensive lineman. A.J. Epineza, Tevin Jenkins, Kalia Davis, Quincy Williams, Jack Stoll, Daniel Thomas, Tylan Wallace. Okay, so they are building an offensive line here. Okay. While I like that, it kind of feels like what you're just trying to do what the Bears did just last year, but that's completely fine. Their offensive line definitely needs to get fixed, right? Quarterback Shedeur Sanders played some very, very good football at times. Also had some times where he got just absolutely bum rushed by the quarterback, or by the defensive line. So that part is kind of tough, but that's completely fine. Yeah. Going forward, I think that Cleveland has a pretty good football team. Hopefully, or they don't, not a good football team. They have a good free agency. So if they can build on this with the draft, I think they're doing really, really good. Overall, I kind of like what the Browns did. Yeah. Pittsburgh Steelers, they traded for Michael Pittman. They got Jamel Dean. They also got Rico Dowdle. They have lost Kenneth Gainwell, Calvin Austin, and Isaac Simatolo. Nothing crazy here. Jamel Dean got brought in from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rico Dowdle, Jawan Brisker from the Bears. Sebastian Joseph Day. That's a tough one. Sante Samuel Jr. has decided to re-sign. Cameron Johnston. Darnell Savage. Steelers are trying to make some moves to rebuild what they did. They still need to figure out what they're doing at quarterback, obviously, but unfortunately this was not exactly a big one for them. Dean has played with Aaron Rodgers before, or played against him many times before. So, if Aaron Rodgers is coming back, which I think is what everybody's kind of expecting, even though he said that this year was probably going to be the one that he was doing, but obviously Aaron Rodgers is not the one to trust always. They still need to get some offensive line. They still need to get some. I mean, I think that they did a pretty good job with the receiver core. The defense was kind of a struggle point last year, so I do hope to see if they are going to do anything with that. But I guess we'll see going forward, because this has already been long enough of me yapping. But it's been good to get back into things. Hopefully we keep those going forward. Thank you guys. If you did end up making it all the way to the end of the video, if you don't mind, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'd appreciate it so very much. I'll see you all next video.